Okay, so transitioning from 2 kids to 3 kids. Now, this transition, I have to say, has been the easiest transition that there has been. When you look at the scale of going from 0 kids to 1 kid, 1 kid to 2 kids, 2 kids to 3, this is the easiest by far. And I don't know if it's just because I'm already used to juggling. Like, when you go from no kids to 1 kid, it's quite a transition. You've never experienced sleep deprivation before. You've never had to plan ahead and be super, super organized with feeding schedules and sleeping schedules before you leave the house to go somewhere. And then when you bring in another baby into it, it's kind of like, oh, all the feelings of, am I not going to be able to give my firstborn what I was before? All those different things, and you're used to now having to juggle 2 kids, and if they're both sick or one doesn't sleep well one night, the next one the next night, and now you have the least amount of sleep you've ever had in your life. And then you go to having a third, and it's kind of like just adding another ball into the mix. It's not as bad as what you can imagine it would be. It's, for the most part, pretty easy. And I think one of the things that makes it easy is the fact that baby 1 and 2 can play together while you're caring for baby number 3. Where when you have your second-born, your firstborn mine was like jumping right beside me when I was trying to feed him, and he was wanting me or temper tantrum, acting up when I was trying to care for my second child. Where now my first 2 can go off and play or do something, entertain each other, and I can care for the needs of my baby. So with all of that, I think, that is kind of why things have been a lot smoother. Other things that are a lot better is a real decrease of parental competition. I don't know about for you, but for me and my husband, when we had our firstborn, we entered the world of parental competition. And I didn't even know it existed until I had children, where people would be so competitive about what their baby was doing at what stage. Theirs slept through the night. Theirs was already potty trained. Theirs was walking. Oh, mine doesn't use a soother. Mine, oh, endless. Just goes on and on and on. And it can get to you, especially a first-time parent. It can really get to you and being like, oh, is my kid slow on something? Are they not developing properly? Or, you feeling like maybe a little ashamed because that child over there is sleeping through the night in their own crib, and your baby, you want to co-sleep with them, and sometimes people will make you feel that your decisions are weird. By the time you get to your third, I think everyone realizes how stupid parental competition is, and it doesn't matter. And even though my son may not have talked till he was 3, by the time they get to kindergarten, no one even knows who started talking first or who started walking first. So I think by now, people just know how dumb that is. So by the time you get to your third child, people don't even remember how old your kid is. So there's not that competition. So that makes things a lot easier. Along with that, as a parent, I am more confident now in the way that, my husband and I have chosen to raise our children. I'm not going to apologize to someone because I want to co-sleep. I'm not going to apologize to somebody, or think that my child's strange if they have a soother. It doesn't matter to me. I know how I want to parent my kids, and I don't need someone else's permission or affirmation for it to be okay. I'm going to stand by my decisions more confidently. So just having that confidence makes things, a lot easier, not doubting yourself. You know what babies are like, and you know what heat rash is, you know what baby acne is, you know what cradle cap is, you know how to deal with it. Where with my first, I knew nothing, so I was on Google all the time. So that's a lot easier as well. I'm fine as well, and I'm kind of like on the same page as the other stuff, where with my third, I'm just enjoying him, and I do with my second, and I'm even more so with my third, just enjoying every moment. With my first, I think because of the parental competition, I was always looking at the books and, what to expect first year, and oh, this is where we are in the first month, the second month, the fourth month, and this is what they should be doing. And instead of really just savoring him as a baby, I was kind of just waiting for the next milestone to occur, and then along that, being concerned if we weren't hitting those milestones like the books and friends say we should be. By the time you get to your third, Like my oldest is almost 6. And I realize now how quickly things pass and how small these phases are that we're in, and just to cherish them because they're going to be gone before you know it. So even with the sleep deprivation stage, it doesn't hit me like it did the other times because I know it's going to pass. You know, before I had 3 children, a woman told me that I need to have 3 because with 2 you're still trying to control things, and by 3 you kind of just throw it up in the air and you just start having fun and you start enjoying them. And I have found that to be true. I used to have, I don't know if it's anal or what, but I used to have like days of the week. This is when we're having showers. This is when we're getting our nails done. This is, the whole house gets cleaned. And now I have just let it go because I have to. And I still like to have especially for the children with eating and sleeping, trying to have some pretty set times because my kids thrive on that. But they're a little more flexible, as in if they're going to get to bed 15 or 20 minutes later one night because dinner's a little bit later because Trexon has to breastfeed, I'm not having a heart attack about it anymore. I won't let it bother me as much. It's kind of like it is what it is. It's not like it's an hour and a half later. It's 15, 20 minutes. So, in the house, I used to clean the whole house all at one time. And now it's like, oh, I have time to dust, I'll dust. I have time to do the bathroom, I'll do the bathroom. If it doesn't get done for 2 weeks, so be it, right? Like my sanity is more important. And so I'm just really enjoying the kids a lot more and not having such, I don't know, control over things. The things that have become very unique to having 3 is getting out the door. Getting out the door is definitely a lot harder than it was before. I now have 4 of us to get ready. The older ones go to the bathroom, brush their teeth, do their hair, make sure they go to the bathroom, help them get their stuff on if they need help, pick it out for them. Then the baby, make sure he's fed, change the diapers, make sure I'm looking okay, and then get out the door. That is definitely a lot harder. And for my husband, when he's with us, he always forgets Trexon in the car, and I'll purposely wait to see if he's going to remember. And Trexon's now 5 months, and Mike's always forgetting. He takes like 3 steps away from the car. I'm like, are you forgetting somebody? And he's like, oh, poor kid. I'm still forgetting him. So that has changed because we never forgot when we had 1 or 2, but now that we have 3, it's kind of like, he gets them out of the car because they're on his side, and I have one in each hand, and then we just start walking, and it's like, no, we got another baby. So, having to think of, even just saying a family of 5, that is a lot harder to remember than a family of 4. But one day he will remember that there's a 3rd child in the back of that car. Baby brain is a lot worse than it ever has been before. I feel like I'm constantly looking for my words, or I have like Post-it notes from Costco now because I have to use them all the time. My brain is just, it's like gone. It's like a third of it's disappeared. Supposedly it's going to come back, but it is bad. Worse with every child like that. Noise has increased, especially now that Trexon is so talkative. It can get really loud around here, and I do get drained from the noise, but thank goodness for bedtime. Along with that, one thing that has changed, is probably worse than it has ever been, is the amount of times that you push pause or stop on your shows that you've recorded. Because, if I'm watching a show that's maybe not appropriate for children to watch, because we're quite strict with what they see, then I will stop it. And sometimes, if they're not going to bed properly or not falling asleep properly, or sometimes we have a quiet time during the day for like an hour, and I get a little bit of a break, and I have to sometimes just pause and stop, or sometimes it'll take me a few days to finish a show, where before you could just sit down and watch the whole thing. Not so much anymore. Now it can take, a few days just to finish a movie. For the most part, like I said in the beginning, it's been a lot easier than I could have ever imagined it to be. And let me know below how you have found with growing families, and if you have found it to be like transitioning from one number to the next, which one was the hardest for you and which one you found really easy. I'm really interested to know if this is quite normal, like the other mom told me it would be for 3, or what other people's stories are.